Hello, if you don't know me, my name is Val and I create art like this and this. So the first one is an older piece of when I was more in a semi-realistic, but the second one is newer and more stylized, and I'm gonna be kind of talking about how I went from that style to my new style. So let's get started. Um, I don't really have a script for this, so um, yeah, this wasn't. I'm gonna start the video by saying this wasn't my first time creating art like this, as seen in this picture from fifth grade. Um, yeah, fifth grade. Anyway, so I kind of used that as a reference. Since then, I've kind of grown out of super stylized works of art, but I I don't know. I wanted to try to get back into stylization. It just seems more fun and also be a lot more easy to animate. So this speed paint is this is one of two in this video. This speed paint is of my first created piece in this art style on digital. Um at this point in the sketch, I don't think it's that bad. Um I just it could be better, you know. But yeah, this that's talking about how it is later. The sketch right here, I really like. I think it looks really good. Um, but yeah, so it was kind of hard for me to get into stylization after years of doing semi-realism, and I thought it was gonna take me a lot longer than it actually did. I think after I looked at my old art, something just kind of clicked, and I was able to do this sort of stylized art. I'm also gonna say that I don't regret doing all the years of semi-realism. Um, it's it's a necessary thing, I think. Um, for learning the proportions, most of all. Um, I'm trying to learn how to render and stuff with this new style, but I think like the years of doing the semi-realism really helped me learn proportions and where everything is, because as many artists have said in the past, you need to know the rules before you can break them. So, learning that sort of thing was really, really helpful. And if you're trying to do stylized art and it's not looking right, I suggest doing some anatomy studies. That assuming that you're just starting and you're off the bat just going in with stylized art. Um, if you have experience with realism and semi-realism and you've done anatomy studies, then I'd say definitely try to focus certain figure out I'm stuttering a lot. This is what happens when you don't have a script. Anyway, um yeah, try to focus a lot on what you want to keep and what you want to change um in your new style, because at stylization you're not completely changing everything. You still have some elements, you can still tell that the face is a face, but in, for example, Disney, the like the eyes are a lot bigger, you know. In some styles the head is a lot bigger, the nose might be bigger or smaller, there might not be a nose at all. In my old stylized art I didn't draw noses, so this time I decided to draw noses, and it's literally just a simple um like 2 lines. So it's basically just simplifying a lot of things. And that's just kind of what my brain was at. Again, I'm not an expert at this. I'm not claiming to be at all. I just, I've been drawing for a long time, and yeah. So this is how the first piece came out. Again, not bad. I like the line art. I just feel like it looked a little flat, but anyway. So into the second drawing. So this is I just do this today. Also, if you're wondering what this meat orb is, that was just a little thing for me to use for reference for colors and textures later, because I'm in this drawing today, my focus was trying to make my art more interesting. So I used some texture brushes which I have never used before. And I think it worked well. I think definitely with a lot more practice, I'll better my skills and I'll get more confident and maybe use more textured brushes. Cause I think they're fun. And I definitely think that with this new style that I'm developing, that they'll help make my art a lot more interesting, and I don't want to say better, but yeah, just like more interesting to look at. I also want to play with pushing the colors a bit. You'll see that later. I use color burn or whatever it is to kind of saturate my colors a bit more. Um, so like in when I was in more realistic art, it was less saturated colors, um, more realistic proportions. Although actually, I still have very similar proportions. Um, I think the middle like third of the face is definitely pushed. You'll see that a lot with again like Disney or Sam Does Arts. Um, Also, another topic that I want to talk about is when you're trying to get into stylized art, if you like don't know where to go from there, look at artists. Try to find artists that you really like. In my case, this was my old art, but I started with going looking at people like Sam Does Arts art. Oh god, that's hard to say. Sam Does Arts' art. Anyway, I love his composition. I love his pieces. And if you ever want like another art YouTuber to watch that's, bigger than this, or just I don't know. If you need another art YouTuber to watch, I highly recommend Sam. He does art tutorials and art reactions if you don't know him. But but yeah, so I looked at his art first, and he said in the past that he has a lot of inspiration from like Disney. And I love his pieces, but I as I was looking at it, I found that like this isn't the sort of style that I really want to do. I'm not a big fan of like the Disney-ish drawings, so I wanted like heavier I wanted more heavier like line art, like more graphic feel. Um so that's where I went, and then instead of looking online because I couldn't really find anything I wanted. So since I had done stylized art before, I looked at my old art and then I kind of used that, and I just made some tweaks. Um, but yeah, I understand that not everyone has that luxury of having history with stylized art to go off of. So if you don't know where to start, you can look at artists. Might be me, might not be me. Might be Sam Does Arts. Um, it I don't know many artists, but there are a bunch of crazy ones that I'm sure you can find. I also really like this cool like background thing that I found. This is another brush. I didn't draw that myself, but I really like it. It's pretty. It's fun to look at. I want to like eat it. um, but yeah, if you can see, I think I improved a lot more on like the rendering and being more confident with my lines. I also used the stabilizer for my line art, which was a lot easier and so helpful. I heavily recommend it. That was the color burn thing. So this little area here, is where I'm color burning. So I'm color. I don't think that's the right terminology, but anyway, I added a color burn layer, and I was adding basically the same colors, but I made them like darker, more saturated. And then I just lowered the opacity and sparkles also. So yeah, this is how this drawing turned out. I think I made a huge improvement. Um, Obviously, the style's going to change. You know, it's going to be much different. But I hope that you had fun watching and, you know, maybe you do something. And if not, then go pick up a pencil and draw. Bye bye.